In one courageous act of defiance against the music industry, Joy Villa became the biggest story of the Grammys overnight. And Leanne, these were a Grammys that I would not have paid any attention to. I would not have known anybody that was involved or any of the acts or anything if it weren't for Joy Villa. It's true. She made the Grammys great again.
Right. And to think that she was even more popular, the dress that she wore and the fact that she dared to wear this to the Grammys in the face of all of these lefties that were there to protest and resist Trump. She was an even bigger story than Beyonce, who came out on stage with her baby bump with her twins.
And she also saw more album sales than Beyonce did on the recent list. In fact, they saw her album sales skyrocket 18,000% on Amazon. And that was, I would guess it's probably upwards closer to 20,000% now. When I got this number, it was some hours ago, probably hours before you're seeing this. So my guess is it's up to 20,000%. Followers on Twitter, she got upwards of 70,000 new followers. It hasn't even been 24 hours yet since she showed her Make America Great Again Trump dress. And this is what's nice about it to me. We'll talk about some of the other things that I like about this. But you know what? She's 25 years old, and this is a age or a generation, I'm 27, that has been cast out by so many people. We don't have any hope. There's no voices for hope in our generation. But you know what? There are. And even though we might be outnumbered, our voices are strong.
Right. Well, and to think about how many people in the entertainment industry have been told to keep their politics to themselves if they're conservative or libertarian, because you will be blacklisted from the entertainment industry. No one's going to book you to do their films, or your music won't get put out there on the radio if it's too political in a way that's not in alignment with the agenda. So it was really impressive to see someone come out and say, you know what, screw it. I'm a great artist. The Grammy they already kind of put her on the radar and said, this is, Joy Villa, but no one really knew who she was. So she just came out and made a big, bold statement. And I think it was obviously a win for her.
Yeah, and that's a good point. It's been such a taboo thing in the past to be an entertainer and have public political views, at least, heavily laying them on your audience. And it's been so one-sided. Here comes Joy Villa, and this is a quote. I'm 100% a Trump supporter. I believe in his message. I believe he will run this country like he runs his life, successfully. I stand as a proud American, and I stand for a unified America that is tolerant of each other no matter who we voted for. I believe in love above all. Who can disagree with that message?
Right. And, they're going to try and beat her up in whatever way that they can figure out, because they don't want anyone
talked about
pushing
one
back
way
against their message.
So here's one way that you talked about you think they might try to attack her. Now, this is a very diverse woman. She's a vegan, author, singer, songwriter, model, vegan health coach, Scientologist. You think they're going to come after her on that?
Yeah, well, because now it's very trendy to attack people if they're a Scientologist and to come after their Scientology beliefs, whatever you might think about Scientology. But it's interesting how they can attack certain religions, but not Islam. Don't you dare do it. That's the favored religion, even though they will, behead gays and throw them off roofs in the present day. That one's great. But it's interesting because last year for South by Southwest, I did a man on the street. President Barack Obama, former President Barack Obama, and Michelle Obama were here. They were the keynote speakers for South by Southwest, the music portion of it. And they were there to talk to artists about ways that they could make music to help push the government's agenda. And we were just like, what the heck? I'm asking people on the streets
why does the government even have an agenda? That's amazing him to just admit that.
And I'm asking them, is this okay? Would you do this? And they were like, well, yeah, if the president asked me to, because they're thinking President Barack Obama. And I said, well, what if someone comes along, after he's out of office that you don't agree with, and they're forcing the music industry to push the agenda? That all caused them to stop and think. And now we've seen the media, music, they've all aligned with President Barack Obama's government and pushed his agenda in their movies and script writing. It'll be interesting to see if they are still in alignment with the government now.
Well, and it was a night that was full of political statements. Katy Perry performed with a Persist armband in front of a projection of the Constitution. A Tribe Called Quest did a President Agent Orange, which, hey, okay, bring attention to Agent Orange. We've been trying to do that for years. And then they did the Black Panther salute. Chance the Rapper, he did bring Jesus and God to the event, which a lot of people I think appreciated. However, he did support, he did show his Barack Obama themed clothing line. But to me, again, it's about, with what Joy Villa did, it's not about whether she's a Scientologist. It's not about whether she's this, that, or the other thing. It's about she's a patriot. And that's what I think she's trying to say. Why can't we just all be patriots? That's something that unifies all of us.
And one of the big things is the freedom of speech. And if you're an entertainer and a musician, an artist, above all, you should stand for freedom of speech and the First Amendment, because that's the business that you're in. And so regardless of it, if it's controversial based on the people that are in the same room with you, but this should be kind of a lesson to the people that are in that room. Meryl Streep, perfect example. The majority of Americans agree with Joy Villa, and they're willing to buy her music and skyrocket her on the charts because she wasn't afraid to stand up for Trump.
And let that be an example. I'm telling you, this is going to be the new wave of marketing. Patriot, conservative, anti-PC. That's where the consumer's thought processes really lie. That's where their loyalties lie. That's why Joy Villa saw success overnight. But it goes on, the designer of that dress, Andres Soriano, is an immigrant from the Philippines and also a big fan of Donald Trump. And he told The Hollywood Reporter, who had to put their little spin on it, of course, that he is supportive of the new president despite his controversial immigration ban. There's their spin. It's not an immigration ban. I just want to correct the Hollywood Reporter on that.
They're just going to put that story out. It doesn't matter. Facts don't matter.
But Soriano talked about in the interview how he believes he's an example of the American dream, an immigrant that comes here, works hard, and does what they love to be successful. But, you know, it's perfect because he talks about how he's a minority, Joy's a minority, but we're both proud to be American. I'm an immigrant. It's not about, you know, skin color or anything. It's about patriotism. And that's what the message was so strong to me. You know, we had all of these other political messages. That's why hers was the strongest to me, because it was the most unifiably certifiable. It's like, we can all be patriots.
Right. And that's the thing is it's not hard for you to go out there and say, oh, we got to resist. Oh, Black Lives Matter. Oh, this. Of course they do. Of course we've been talking about resisting and stamping out the government tyranny for a very long time, decades. Alex Jones has dedicated his life to it. Now, all of a sudden, it's being pushed and it's super popular because it's someone that they disagree with. So it's just very interesting to see how they're trying to control to the point of pushing the country into civil unrest and promoting riots in the streets so much so that they're failed and they're losers. That's how angry they are, that they'd rather see this country crumble than allow Donald Trump to push his agenda.
Here was a quote from Soriano. "We need to move this country forward, and we believe it's time to promote love. We only live once, and we need to promote love. We have one president now who is going to do the best thing for planet America." And to me, that message is we don't want to conquer the planet. That's just, we want freedom to conquer the planet. That's kind of how I took that.
Well, and then just kind of going back a little bit to artists needing to stand up for the First Amendment. We have Meryl Streep. So she obviously during the Emmys, she took her opportunity to bash Trump and put out some divisive message. People came after her, attacked her. So now Meryl Streep pledges to stand up to brown shirts. This was in her most recent tirade. So she's talking about these people who came after her on Twitter after her thing, calling them brown shirts. Meryl, I'm sorry, where were you during the Berkeley riots when people, actual fascists, Antifa, they were there shutting down violently speech that they disagreed with, pummeling people with shovels, attacking women? Where were you fighting actual brown shirts? And that's the thing that's so messed up is they're taking these words because they're betting on the fact that most millennials don't even know what a brown shirt or fascism actually is. And just
you've got anti-fascists that are fascists.
Exactly.
You've got the anti-fascist fascists.
Right.
And that's exactly what you're talking about. And it goes on to your point, Mrs. Streep just received the National Ally for Equality Award from the Human Rights Campaign, an advocacy group for lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender issues. But she's on the side of Sharia law.
That's the thing that's so much.
It's ridiculous, Leanne.
It really makes, and I get it, you know, why Christianity would be the religion that's been attacked because it has been the prevalent religion in this country. But why would you go so far to attack Christianity to then prop up another religion that's even more extreme in the present day? Christianity was bad hundreds and hundreds of years ago. So they have no excuse for that.
Well, and we have right now, a lot of these artists are looking to government to help rewrite some of the music laws, some of the laws for the industry so they can start to profit off of it and stop some of, I guess, the illegal downloading or pirating of music. That's an issue that they're going to have to be faced with.
But help now.
But it's true. Science has proven, this is actually an old story, pop music has actually gotten worse. Science confirmed what you've always suspected. Music these days is worse than it used to be. This is Owen Schroyer, Leanne McAdoo. Thanks, David Knight. InfoWars Nightly News returns tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Central.
And that is science.
Science.
In case you haven't heard, InfoWars has become the most influential media outlet in America. We're making freedom go viral. And now we are proud to announce a new weapon in the epic battle against the globalists. InfoWars Prime, where you can watch live high-definition feeds of The Alex Jones Show, plus exclusive insider videos from the InfoWars crew and behind-the-scenes action. Go to Infowars.com/app and download today. InfoWars Prime is available right now for your iPhone or Android. You will have access to exclusive videos that you can't see anywhere else. And that means live coverage of events and breaking news on location as it happens. You can also take advantage of amazing deals from the InfoWars store that are only available for InfoWars Prime subscribers. That's InfoWars Prime at Infowars.com/app. And if you can hear my voice, you are the resistance.